What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So yesterday we had that Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase, and you know what? It was pretty good. In fact, a lot of people left that showcase fairly excited for what was shown there, and with good reason. They had a couple of strong Capcom games to kick things off, a couple of games coming out right away, and then they even closed out with a game from Microsoft. In fact, the thing didn't even get downvoted that much, so we're making progress there. We're gonna go over that event and some of my thoughts on what we saw there, but exciting stuff certainly from something that people don't go into with high expectations with these partner showcases, of course. Also, we get to talk about the PlayStation 5, as we've heard about backwards compatibility with the PS4, but about the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. Well, Jim Ryan decided to talk about that a bit, and it might not go over very well with people who are hoping they could take their PlayStation 3 disc and pop it into the PlayStation 5. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton, and if you're brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below, and we're gonna start today with some retail packaging, some boxes, specifically for your video game console boxes. Let's take a look at the Xbox Series line of consoles, because we have the retail boxes that were listed, renders of them online. We're gonna take a look at the Series S and the X right next to each other here. It's obvious that they wanted to make them a bit different, right? So they went with two different tones, obviously, kind of a white box. They went with a darker black and gray box here. The white box for the Series S is funny because the speaker grill looking thing is right dead center there. It's very noticeable. I mean, it contrasts against the box itself, so that makes sense. It's just really funny because it really does look like a speaker on that box. But I do like the Xbox Series X box itself. Looks really nice, kind of the black and gray with that green glow at the top there, zoomed in on the vents. Very nice. Let's go over to the PlayStation 5 boxes. My favorite one so far out of all four of these is the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition box. It's kind of like this all black with the blue accent at the top, and then we have kind of the gray triangle, circle, square symbols, all of that right there. They stick out very well, and I just think the system itself pops off of there. Very nice looking box, and it is completely different from the regular PlayStation 5, which of course you can see here is all white. The symbols are kind of hard to see because they're just like a lighter gray, but they are very different along with the Series S and the Series X. Makes sense for those boxes to be very different so you don't get them mixed up at retail. If it was just like for the PS5 specifically, if they were the same colored boxes, same looking boxes, the systems were slightly different on the front, and all it said was like all digital in like a corner, that would kind of be a nightmare for retail, trying to explain that to moms and dads who walk in and making sure you get the right one. So this makes a lot of sense. Again, my favorite one here out of these four has to be the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition system, but let me know which one you like the most. Oh, and do you remember Godfall? Because I feel like, especially after that last PlayStation 5 event, we're all talking about the launch lineup for the PS5, and like Godfall just got forgotten about. That is supposed to be coming out at launch with the PlayStation 5, according to them, and it has gone gold. On Twitter, you can see here, it says, "We're proud to share that Godfall's officially gone gold on PlayStation 5. On behalf of everyone working from home at Counterplay Games and Gearbox Publishing, we can't wait to ascend alongside you on PS5 in November." So, okay, Godfall will be there, it seems. It's already gone gold. It means they're basically ready to go to print discs and all that and drop them off at the stores. Great. It looks kind of like it's a little too Destiny for me, I think. I'm still going to try it because naturally you get a new system and you want to start dropping any and all games in there you can, just see how it looks, run it through its paces. So I'll still pick it up. My problem is I have that Destiny fatigue from this entire generation. I just did the Marvel's Avengers, and even that was like getting to me. I'm like, oh, this has some Destiny in it for sure, so that fatigue started setting in. But who knows, maybe Godfall can make itself a bit different, stand out some, that's more melee combat, so you never know. I'll be checking it out either way, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on the Spawncast months from now after launch. Also, there is that concern with the Xbox Series S, and somewhat even with the PlayStation 5. Both of these systems have less than a terabyte, of course, 825 gigabytes on the PlayStation 5, and then 512 gigabytes on the Series S. The big concern is file size of games, right? Well, in an interview, we at least know now, this was the IGN, that the Series S will look to have smaller games in terms of file sizes on it. This is from Xbox Director of Program Management, Jason Ronald, who says, "With a performance target of 1440p at 60 frames per second, our expectation is that developers will not ship their highest level MIP maps to Xbox Series S which will reduce the size of games. So they are leaving it in developers' hands. Here's hoping that they actually follow through and say, you know what, the Series S doesn't need 4K textures and all this. Let's knock it down. And the file sizes are just smaller. This is with smart delivery that Microsoft has been talking about. Sony's been talking about something similar. So I do hope both of them really have file size in mind, because Call of Duty and Warzone and some of these other games are getting massive in size. We're talking hundreds of gigabytes at times. It seems to me like these systems are going to fill up pretty quick, so I hope things like all of the redundant files not needing to be there, like Mark Cerny mentioned, really add up to having, well, subtract, I guess, from the file size. So we'll see how all this goes down, but I'm a little concerned they haven't shown any examples of it yet, because that tells me that these games are still going to be pretty big. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get in the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with that Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase that took place. It's almost 20 minutes long, and you know what? They showed a fair amount, I would say. In fact, right away, they didn't even introduce anything. They showed the ratings, and they went right into this trailer here for Monster Hunter Rise. That will be the new Monster Hunter game, more traditional Monster Hunter game, I'll say, going to the Switch, and that'll be March 26th. So next year, about 6 months. That's pretty good. Now, this game has been in development, it seems, for quite a while. I will say that, based on all the rumors that have been going around for years now about this thing. So good to see it's finally getting revealed. More information will follow up at Tokyo Game Show for this Monster Hunter game, and then the other one that followed it in this presentation. But they initially showed it, and you know what? Visually, it looks pretty good. On the Switch, this big open world style game looked kind of like Xenoblade at times in terms of how large the world looked there. They seem to be going with more of an open overall environment, and they mentioned that when you load in, you won't be having any more load times after that. You're just going to be able to kind of run around the world and explore with friends and all of that. I think the movement is the part that caught me off guard the most, because they started using something called the wire bug, which basically looks like a grappling hook, and they started just flying all over the place and climbing up mountainsides and all of that. Looked like there's gonna be a lot of movement options added in for this Monster Hunter game. That's the part that I saw people most excited for online. I'm not like a big Monster Hunter person. I've played them, but I didn't get like crazy into the games or anything, but this just looked legitimately fun when they were moving around during battles and all this, kind of zipping around with this wire bug. So yeah, I'll be checking this one out. I think it could be a lot of fun. Now, the other Monster Hunter game, again, caught people off guard, because it was like, oh, cool, Monster Hunter. What's next? Another Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Stories 2, that's coming summer 2021. So that's going to be only a few months after we have Rise released. That's interesting. This is a follow-up to the original, which was on the 3DS a couple years back now. This was more of an RPG as opposed to Monster Hunter, which is more action-oriented. And they said that several times in the presentation. RPG, fun. And the way I have heard it from people, because I didn't really get into this on the 3DS much at all, is that it's more like, almost like Pokemon mixed with Monster Hunter to a degree. I did like the visuals, the art style, so yeah, I'll be checking this one out on the Switch also. So good start, I would say, of the presentation. 2 big Capcom games back to back right away. Some of the other games we saw here included Fitness Boxing 2, that's coming out December 4th, was more of a like an overall boxing exercise style game. There we go. Then we had Hades, which released right away. This was great because we had seen this before in a presentation, and now they are just shadow dropping. They're like, oh yeah, Hades is ready to go. It's out of early access. 1.0 is launching now, and that was really cool. The Long Dark also launching right away. I like that they kind of saved these for these presentations to launch. Very, very cool. Even on like the PC side, Steam, it doesn't seem like even they know that it's going to release out of early access. So seeing that just kind of be a surprise was really cool for something like Hades. It dropped, immediately got great reviews. I think it's sitting at like a 91 on Metacritic right now. So really, really cool there. I downloaded it. I'm going to check it out as soon as I can there. They showed PGA Tour 2K21 getting a physical copy, but I believe that game's already out. It looks kind of strange on the Switch is what I'll say. So check out some video of that before you go and buy it. They also showed Balan Wonderworld, which of course is Sean's AAA Nights game. That's coming out March 26th. Looked a bit strange, kind of out there, but that's what we were expecting from Balan Wonderworld, so pretty cool. We also saw Disgaea 6 get announced. This appears to be an exclusive for the Switch. Big announcement here. Summer 2021 launch date. And then Disgaea 5 Complete is going to have a free trial for Nintendo Switch Online members starting next week. And that's pretty cool, although I don't really know how far you're going to get in Disgaea 5, to be honest, for about a week or so. That's not really going to get you very far. These games tend to be pretty long, kind of grindy at times, but they're very fun. So, you know what? Maybe it might be worth checking out, just see what you think. We also saw Rune Factory 5, that's coming out 2021, Empire of Sin, that's coming out December 1st, and they closed out the presentation with Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it is out now. That is super impressive to see that pop up there. Of course, the first Ori is already on the Switch. This was expected, but they did a lot of work. They said this on Twitter. They got it to 60 frames per second, and they also showed this awesome collector's edition that like sold out pretty quick. It was kind of expensive, but people jumped on that immediately. It looked so good. Yeah, I missed it. So it's fine. I'm sure it'll pop up again for like, $1,000 on eBay. But overall, this was the best partner showcase that they have had so far. It is very close almost to a full direct, kind of. Like if there were like 3 or 4 first-party games thrown in there as well, right, mixed in with these, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell a difference. It would have been like almost 30 minutes, and they would have had some pretty good announcements here. So if these partner showcases, they've been kind of getting the bugs worked out, the kinks worked out here, and now they're building up to these kind of shows, yeah, okay. I like the idea of partner showcases now. That's not to say the next one will be this good, but I mean, they've been building up slowly. The only thing they were missing here, and it's crazy to me because it's out now, is WWE 2K Battlegrounds. They were so close to a 10 out of 10, but they missed it. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation 5 and backwards compatibility. We, of course, now know that the PS4 will mostly work. I think it's like 99% compatible with the PlayStation 5. They're also gonna have the PlayStation Plus collection that they're gonna have there for people that will have several PS4 games that will be available to download and play on the PS5. But Jim Ryan was asked about this by Famitsu specifically for PS1, PS2, and PS3, and this is what he had to say. We keep in mind the engineering specialized for the PS5 as we produce the device. In the midst of that, the PS4 already has 100 million players. We thought they ought to want to play PS4 titles on the PS5 as well indeed, so we included compatibility with the PS4. While implementing that, we also focused our efforts on taking in the high-speed SSD and the new controller DualSense at the same time. So unfortunately, we couldn't reach the implementation of such compatibilities. Yeah, it seems like they decided where their R&D was gonna go and their development time and effort and money, and they said, you know what? PlayStation Now exists, they can just stream it. That's it. Like PS3 games, you can stream on there. But the weird thing is, you can download PS2 games from PlayStation Now and play them natively on your PS4. So I think at least PS1 and PS2 would not have been bad, like at all. PS3, I understand. PS3 was, if you look at it from like a technical side, kind of a disaster when it comes to trying to emulate it, although people are doing it on PC now, so I'm sure Sony could do it with the PS5 if they really wanted to sit down and put the effort in. But as Jim Ryan's saying here, and he said it himself, when he looked at the PS1, who wants to play those games anyway, right? And he was kind of backed up when that PS1 classic didn't do that well. I also feel like they could have put a better effort into it. Maybe it would have, but this is where we are now, right? We will have PS4 games, for the most part, 99% compatible. I'm sure we'll find out what that 1% is at some point. And PS5 games. Unfortunately, if you want PS1, PS2, or PS3, you're going through PlayStation Now, and you're certainly streaming PS3 games. So it looks like we can indeed put that rumor to bed for now. You won't be playing any of the older legacy titles on the PlayStation 5. Next up, let's talk about the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X when it comes to pre-orders. Turns out Microsoft is not going to do what Sony did, which was just, yeah, they're available now. Then that's it. It turns out the story was that one retailer decided to open PS5 pre-orders, and then all the other retailers were like, well, we're not going to lose money. We're taking pre-orders too. And then just chaos, right? At least with Microsoft, it seems like they're trying to schedule this thing out, and they released an entire page detailing all of this time, when you can do it, and where you can pre-order, and even where you can do Xbox All Access. So let's go to the page here that will also be sourced below. You can check that out in your area. But we can see September 22nd, you'll be able to pre-order Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S online following retailers. So for example, in the United States, 8 a.m. Pacific time, Microsoft Store, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, Newegg, all of the places you would expect. The real thing you want to look out for is if you are planning to do Xbox All Access, make sure you're going to a participating retailer, which in the United States would be Best Buy, GameStop, Microsoft Store, and Walmart. It seems like in other parts of the world, there's only one or maybe two places you can go for Xbox All Access. So unfortunately, doesn't look like there's a ton of options for that when you're trying to finance your system. I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork and other things they have to work out for that. Maybe some sort of credit company has to make sure that they are on call for that. So at least it seems that Microsoft is trying to organize this whole thing, and we'll see how that goes. I can't imagine it'd be worse than the PS5 because that was just so much chaos happening all at once from, for the most part, just confusion, a massive issue with organization, and just crashing websites and scalpers all over the place. It was crazy. We'll see how Microsoft does with theirs. In our last bit of news, let's talk about that RTX 3080 that went up for pre-order yesterday, and this one got hit hard by scalpers. It was bad because it went up. We had this all figured out, right? We had the times and everything. The links were already posted. By the time it went live, it was already gone. All of the cards were just out of stock. Nothing, right? For the RTX 3080. It was really weird. People were trying to figure out what was going on. Well, it turns out people did manage to use bots to pick these cards up. And you could see some examples have even been found. Here's one, for example, that shows thank you with bounce alerts, and they have 42 emails from the NVIDIA store. This is one example from PC Mag that managed to pick this out. Some had 18 of them. Some had like 20. Bounce alerts apparently was used like crazy. So you can go over to eBay now and you can see, yeah, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. It's out of control right now on eBay. I mean, this was kind of expected with these cards. So what did they decide to do? Well, they decided to review bomb the product itself to try to send a message to not buy these. Basically, people are on eBay and they're like, well, we want to try to have something up that says don't buy these. Otherwise, they're just going to keep doing it. If they get left with the stock, they'll have to lower the price, I guess, or they'll just hold it till the holidays, or they'll hold on to it too long, and then third-party companies will start coming out, like EVGA and others, with more and more cards, and maybe the market will get saturated. We're very hopeful right now, but that was the strategy. Review bomb these different cards, or you make your own bot to fight back. And as you can see with an image that was posted on Twitter by Cyberpunk 2077 Countdown, says, I wrote a bot to inflate scalper prices with no intention to purchase. And they go on to say that they have bots that are driving up prices on eBay to like $6,000 to $20,000 bids with no intention to purchase these things, right? Just making accounts on eBay, and then they just drive up values to the point where no person's gonna be like, well, yeah, I'll pay $20,000 for that card. And then the person who listed it just wasted a bunch of time and they're not gonna sell it. I guess the idea is to just keep hitting them with these outrageous bids to the point where maybe they give up and they post it for retail or closer to it. It's, again, a mess. It has not been a good week for pre-orders, right? Like, I'm looking around and everything's selling out. Scalpers are having a field day right now. You might have messed with the wrong side there with those RTX 3080s is all I'll say, because they're out there writing bots to fight back. Bots bought these cards, now the bots are fighting back. It's all over the place. What a week so far, right? And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Michael saying, no one seems to talk about it, but we still have not seen the PS5 UI. I was sure it would be revealed at yesterday's event. Yeah, They kept teasing stuff, right? Like between, they would show like the symbols for the PlayStation logo kind of popping up out of the ground and then going back down. And I thought they were eventually going to like start up the system in some way. Like even if it's just a video that they had recorded kind of going around the UI, we don't even know what the system looks like when you turn it on. Like we've seen what Microsoft is doing with their UI, but we've seen nothing for Sony. And the word is that they were going to show it to us and they still haven't. I feel like they're just going to drop it on YouTube with a Twitter announcement and a PlayStation blog post, and that's going to be it. But we're less than 2 months away, and there's still a lot of questions around the features for this system. And now we're finding out things about cross-gen for the PS4, and I'm sure Sony has some other fun surprises for us, so we'll keep an eye out for that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. Enjoyed this video, guys? Hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's that Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase. What'd you think about it? Did you get really excited to see a bunch of Monster Hunter games just dropped in there immediately? Or maybe you were really happy to see Ori and the Will of the Wisps finally show up there after the first one, closing things out with that shadow drop from Microsoft. Also, what about the PlayStation 5 and Jim Ryan saying that they decided to take more of their focus away from older legacy games playing on it and moving towards things like the DualSense controller, of course, and even getting PS4 games to work within reason to 99% or so compatibility. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time for Newswave.